Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever it is that you are watching the broadcast. Hello, 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 hello. It is wonderful to connect with you to say hi, hello, how do you do? What is happening? What's going on with you? Blessings, 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 and more blessings I speak unto you. For those who will be live, yes, 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 let's do it. For those who will hashtag and replay it, I love it. For those who will be on and I don't know you're on and I might not never know you're on, I could appreciate that. And then for those who will be used by Papa at some point down the road to encourage this girl, let's make it do what it do. 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 All right. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Yes. Yes. And yes. Okay, beloved. So we're talking about this notion of having a desire and what do we need to do with our desire, like how do we approach our desire. um Good morning, Virginia, from Virginia, so good to see you, my sister. And so how do we navigate this thing that we call a desire? How do we navigate that thing, right? How do we keep it going? How do we keep it going? How do we fuel it? How do we grow in this thing called our desire, right? We've got to know what that looks like. And so um our desire, our desire to do, our desire to have, our desire to be. We talked about that yesterday. That's our halfway mark. It's kind of like our halfway mark, right? We've already gotten the momentum going. We're already moving in that direction. We already got some energy towards that, our desire to do, our desire to be, our desire to have, and so on and so forth, right? That is saying that there is something in us that is being called forth, that there is time for something to be manifested in this here universe of ours, that we are being invited to more. Being invited into more of our being, more of our becoming, more of more. Okay? We are being invited to more. Look, I'm going to invite you to accept that invitation. No pun intended. Accept the invite of your becoming. Accept the invite of your becoming. Accept, receive it, beloved, the invite of your becoming. Accept that. And so as you think about the invitation to become more, that's all this is about. Like, get curious about it. That thing that's coming up in your soul, that thing that is inviting you to more, get curious about what that thing is. Get curious about the invitation. Get curious about what it means to become more, to grow deeper and richer and broader and more expansive into you, because that's what it's about. You growing more into your being. So let's get curious. What does it mean? Where is it inviting me to go? What is it that I need from it? How shall I be as a result of leaning into the more of me? Right? These are amazing questions to ask yourself. What are the possibilities that come from my acceptance of this invitation? What no longer exists for me that no longer serves me in this new season of my life, that will just drop off because I'm forward facing, I'm facing the becoming of me, right? That kind of stuff excites me because you know what? We ain't got to wrestle. We ain't got to fight with the stuff. We ain't got to be mad at what was. when we can simply be glad about what will become. I'm talking about our own inner becoming. I'm not talking about other things. I'm talking about our own transformation, our own turning into or becoming of. Like, we don't have to fight about what you didn't do and why you didn't do it and shoulda, coulda, woulda, and if only I had, because that just don't serve you. Look at it. Look at it. I'm not talking about ignoring it. I'm not talking about pretending like it hasn't been. I'm not talking about, I believe in a sober awareness of our being. I believe in a sober awareness of our being, wholeheartedly, flat footed, sober awareness of our being. Yes, I do. And so, that means we take a full look at ourselves, not with pretense, not with rosy colored glasses, not with acting like we don't see what we know we see. It's some stuff that we see that we know don't serve us, that we need to be working on releasing and letting go. Because if we carry it into our next, it will continue to do what it's done for us in our past, right? But that still never warrants beating ourselves up. Under no circumstances do we do that. It is not allowed. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. It's not allowed. Because it costs too much. It costs too much. It's one thing for somebody else to be saying something negative to us, but it's quite another thing for us to then repeat that negative thing to ourselves. Right? That external can have impact and weight. Absolutely. Sticks and stones can break our bones, and words can hurt us if we allow it. Yes. Other people's words. But it ain't nothing like being hurt by your own words. So what we say to ourselves matter. We don't get to just say anything to ourselves. We don't take ourselves down. Friendly fire. No. All right, Ray Price, good morning. Thank you for your prayers. Right? So, beloved, get curious about that desire that's bubbling up from your soul, that's coming from deep within. What is that desire? What is it saying? What is it inviting you to? What do you want? What are the hopes that come from the fulfillment of the desire? What are the manifestations that come from the realization of the desire? What is it that comes forth because you made yourself available for the desire to become? Right? So it is up to us to get curious, be like, wonder what that is. Where does that come from? How is that a thing for me? What is that possibility? That realization. What if I do? What if it does? What will that look like when it does? How will I be from that reality? Do you see? So inviting yourself to that truth, to that knowing, to that possibility, letting that be the truth of you. So I invite you to, beloved, I invite you to powerfully lean into that reality, lean into that truth, lean into that being. Lean into that. Let it be so. Get curious about your desire. Get curious about what you hope for, what you want. Get curious about the possibility of, right? And so look into it, right? Let's see. So, anyway, so take time and inquire in yourself. Inquire as to what it means for you. Good morning, Erica. Hey, honey bun. Inquire as to what that means for you. Inquire of yourself, inquire of God, inquire of, right? To see what does that mean? What's the invitation? What is the expectation of your engaging with? What is the requirement? It's your desire, right? It's your desire. So you get to look at it from all different sides, from top to bottom, from side to side. Look at it from the lens of who you've been and who you are and who you desire to be. Look at it from the lens of possibilities, right? Of possibilities of freedom, of expansion, of becoming. Look at it from the lens of wow, right? The wow factor. Look at it from the lens, right? Of more of growth and expansion and increase. So get curious about what comes up in you. Because what comes up in you is not what comes up in me. Not the same way, not the same depth or quality or frequency or any of those things, because each and every one of us is a unique being, unduplicated. Never has been and never will be. And so get curious about what is popping off in you. What's the invitation? What's the knock on your soul? What is that? What's the knock? What is the knock on your soul? When you think about wondering and pondering and contemplating, right? And considering what comes up for you when you think of those things and think about that desire in your soul. What's the desire and what does it mean? And what is it asking of you? What changes are warranted in order for that desire to gain traction? For it to gain traction, do you know? In fulfillment of our soul's cry, we become. In fulfillment of our soul's cry, in fulfilling. Yeah, in fulfillment. I like that better. In fulfillment of our soul's cry. Y'all know, and sometimes we become. Um, y'all know, I often stop and type things that come up as we are having our discussions because I want to capture them, because those are divine downloads. I've come to know that about how uh, Papa and I dance, how the Lord and I dance, that those are divine downloads for me. Anyway, so getting curious about your desire. So let's set some time aside and ask ourselves the question, like, why am I, what draws me to the particular things that I'm drawn to, and other things I have no interest in whatsoever. What leads me, like, what is the excitement about, right? Why am I excited in a particular way about a particular thing? What is it about that particular subject or that particular way of being or that particular way of thinking that is exciting to me? What is it about that that leads to my excitement? Right? We got to look at it, because you're drawn, I'm drawn in particular ways that are unique to us, and that's a beautiful thing, right? It's an absolutely beautiful thing to be drawn in those ways. And so as we think about how it is that we want, that we desire, that we hope for, that we find fulfillment in, wonder what that is about me that right? Just a ponder, a wonder, a consideration, I'm curious. So, Kathy, what are you to do with that? What is it about that thing that sets your soul on fire, that you just love having that conversation, that you get such fulfillment out of engaging in that activity? What is that about you? I'm inviting you to get curious about you. It's not about nobody else. What others prefer, want, desire. This is about your desire. That thing that keeps bubbling up in your soul. Yeah, it's about your desire. So, beloved, I'm inviting you to powerfully lean into and get curious about what it is that's coming up for you. It's, if it's coming up, it's not going anywhere. Now, if we don't answer the desire or pay attention to the desire in our young days, it'll keep coming, but it'll come up in different ways, because the way we will manifest something when we're younger, we generally won't do that same thing when we're older, because it's not for that stage of life. But that desire does not go away. It just morphs into something different. It just looks different. But the desire for whatever the core of it is, that's yours to birth in the earth. That's yours to bring to the universe. That's yours to provide for, for humanity or plant life, animal life, or whatever. It's yours to provide. Honey, beloved, that desire does not go away. It morphs. It morphs. It'll show up in different ways, in different times, at different seasons, at different lives, but it's still yours to nurture and birth. All right, I love you. I appreciate you. I value you. And at the moment that Abba gave us our breath, me and you, we forfeited, we relinquished. You and I, we gave up the right to not be amazing. All right, have a fantastic day. Bye-bye for now.